I went to a rummage sale and you guys asked to see my haul. There were a lot of grab bags, so let's see what's in each of them. Let's start off with the $5 ornament bag. My original thought was if I could find 5 ornaments, then it would be worth the $5. Everything else I'm going to donate, so I'm going to put it in this box. Since I'm bringing in new items, Muffin is extremely curious. I set out a container to see if that would wrangle her, but she sniffed it and went away. These are really beautiful ornaments. I just already have a lot as it is, and they're not real glass, so I'm going to donate them. I do love the little gold apple. I'm going to keep that as well as all the red satin ornaments. I do put those on my tree. These little birds are why I chose to get this bag in the first place. I think they're so neat. They are wooden and they will go so well on my mid-century tree. The other ones that I liked were these white and red ones. They are plastic, but they have a very vintage vibe. And so again, I'm going to put those on my mid-century tree. Sadly, there was an ornament with a picture in here. Hopefully they can find it at the donation shop. There were some elves, and then this angel, since she's all red in her face, I don't know. I think I'm going to donate her. There's a Walmart Santa. This peacock feather will go to my sister. I'm going to donate the little potpourri bag, very 90s. There were 2 more elves. They look like Snap, Crackle, and Pop to me. But would those be something you guys would be interested in a drawing? Here's what I'm getting rid of. I did pull all the blue ones for my sister. But I found 4 birds, the golden apple, 5 of these little white and red ones, including an elephant. There was a rocking horse as well, and then 4 satin balls. Other items that I got was this Elvis DVD. I was so discouraged when I opened it and saw all the scratches, but that was actually this other DVD. The Elvis one was unused completely, so great deal for $1. The other one I don't think is salvageable. It's pretty bad. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to throw it away, I think. Then there was this tray. It was like a winter scene. It will work well with my Valentine's decor. And this mid-century bar set. Originally, I thought that it was missing a few pieces, but once I straightened them all out, I realized it was complete. So again, for $1, great deal. I'll move quickly through some other items like these 2 little signs that will go well on wreaths. These 2 cassettes, I really should have replaced the plastic outside, but they will work just fine. This super long electric cord and wrap for only $1. And then this picture frame was $1, and I could see how it would be easily overlooked. However, I have an idea for it. I wanted the frame, not really the design, and so I pulled out all of these upholstery staples. It worked out really well. The flower was slightly glued on, but I was able to peel it off easily. And it will work better than I even realized. This puff piece is still intact, and so now I can create a new piece with new cloth. So stay tuned. Here's a little piece of fur for a Halloween project, a little scarecrow I'm going to save in his package until November. And then you may remember these 2 what appear to be pumpkin candles. It was hard to tell what they looked like, and so when I unwrapped them, I was really surprised by this goofy guy. It was $1 for the both of them, and so this one really has some vintage vibes. I really like him. I'll incorporate them both into my decor. Then there's this awesome pumpkin with something inside it that I'm not going to question. The find of the day, or at least I'm going to say so, this frog planter. I think I might have to incorporate him into my Halloween decor. I'm just so antsy to use him. I also got a front porch basket that I'm going to put some gourds in. It's all dusty already and it'll fit right in. Then I got some vintage linens. I was trying to find the tag on this one and still no luck. There just wasn't one. And then a hand towel. The tag on this one is so faded, I can't tell what brand it is. It looks vintage though. And then I was really discouraged that there was some pretty big staining, but I'm hoping I can wash it out. The Celtic hot pan holders. I'm a sucker for the colors and the style. And a Christmas pin that was Hallmark from the 80s. I was really excited. I'm going to make a magnet out of that. The 25-cent accordion rack. What a deal. I have an idea where I might put it. 3 vintage frames. The black one did have a nick in it, and I went back and looked. It was there before I bought it, so it makes me feel better I didn't do it. There were a couple of bags that I couldn't really see everything. This one was only 25 cents, and I knew that I wanted this Santa pin. He is 1984 Hallmark, and he will be a great refrigerator magnet. It was worth 25 cents in itself. There was this cheap ornament, but still very cute. Another Christmas ornament with a silver base. I'll probably donate that. There was also a gold reindeer, which I really liked, and he would look good on my main Christmas tree, so I'm going to keep him. And how neat is this piece? I don't know if it was meant for that, but very cool. I'm going to keep that one as well. The white snowflake could really work for my January decor, which is just winter-based. And a miniature ornament that could work on a trinket shelf. I was surprised to see some other pins in here as well, so here's some holly. I'm not sure what I'll do with that yet. Another seemingly homemade ornament, an Audrey ornament. And this light pin, which is also really beautiful. So I'll keep these items. I don't know what I'll use them for yet. The ornaments, the Santa pin, these for winter, that for my sister, and I'll donate the rest. Now, the one you guys all wanted to see, I got all of these sun catchers for $2. I really couldn't tell what was all in there. There was a fish, and then a lot of these kind of stained glass that almost looked homemade. This hummingbird was really cool. I had to straighten out his nose though. A butterfly thermometer, a couple of ornaments too. All of the stained glass kind of looked maybe homemade or like it was a DIY kit. I loved that red rose pin. There were also some keychains in here and Christmas ornaments. And this mid-century cat was such a surprise. I love it so much. I don't know what I'll do with it yet though, but I'm definitely keeping it. There's some bluebirds. This very cool stained glass. Do you think it is a peach? A pumpkin? What do you guys think? This one had some beautiful danglies from it. Some hearts that maybe went to something else at one point. I'm definitely keeping the apple. I don't know again what I'll do with it, but I like it a lot. The angel I kept to give to my sister. I think it would make a really cute Christmas ornament. And another hummingbird that was just a little bit different. More keychains and then some random bells. At the bottom was the pin I bought this bag for. I'm going to use it as a November magnet. And another cat with a blue face. Toward the bottom of the bag, I was starting to find just a lot of suction cups in random pieces. I liked the Americana heart that I could use for 4th of July. More stained glass projects, one about friendship. A little wooden ladybug that looked homemade painted. And some homemade plastic kits. This orange flower is really pretty as well. It almost looked like the previous owner used them as ornaments. I'm going to keep the hummingbirds to see if I can rehang them. The angel will go to my sister. I'm keeping the fruit, all the pins, the heart, and then the bells for the craft closet. Something else I purchased was a box of greeting cards. On top, there was a lot of Christmas that I will donate. But look at these others. A lot I will use as greeting cards, but these good housekeeping ones are adorable for possibly framing. The one of the little kids going to school would be so cute for August. And this one, I love everything about it. It's gorgeous. Such a good deal for 25 cents. I also found these 2 brass roosters. One was $1, one was $2. And then I finally figured out, I think they're fighting. I couldn't leave them behind though. They're real brass. And then here's another look at the frogs. This is a salt and pepper shaker. This big froggy bank is also 25 cents. I don't know where I'll put him, but he's so cute. I like that he's got his arm propped up while the other one's grabbing his foot. I also had to get the snail salt and pepper shakers. And this guy's just a trinket, but he's also leaning on his side. These 2 were 50 cents and left in, which is a great deal. They'd be cute on a trinket shelf. And here is the other salt and pepper shaker and the other snail. That concludes my big rummage sale haul. In all, I spent $32 and I think I did pretty well. Which was your favorite this time? Come decorate my living room with me for Halloween. It's almost October 1st, so let's get to it. We'll start with this end table, and I love stacking books. I do have a lot of green ones. I love to frame things as well. One of these is from an old kids magazine from the 60s, and the other is a faux vintage postcard. You'll find that some of my decor is a little bit more on the goofy side, a little bit more 90s kids. And the reason for that is that was all I decorated with when I was younger because that's all I could afford and that's all I knew. So my kids have grown to love that style, and so I tried to keep that 90s kitschiness in there. You'll see it throughout my entire living room. I switched out all of my baskets with fall picks, the black candle snuffer, and then I framed this print, which honestly, I didn't see the skeleton face for a long time. It's embarrassing how long. I'll add chilling, thrilling sounds of haunted houses. It's a hilarious track. There's actually one whole track of just a dog barking. But more book stacks, and you may recognize this candelabra that I purchased at the Salvation Army. I love the vibe for Halloween. I'm a fan of adding old bottles. The green pillar will hold a jack-o'-lantern that's very 90s, and a couple of creepy blackbirds. To cover the DVD player, I did put an orange placemat down. I purchased a Halloween ephemera book from Schmamazon, and they had these 2 photos in there, so I framed them. I love the creepy vibe that they have. More ghosts with pumpkins. I have a lot of those. I'll add my pumpkin candle and a haunted house that complements it. I don't love hanging rectangle frames up here next to the rectangle mirror, but it worked better than the oval. And another ghost and pumpkin, and a giant spider to finish off the area. That spider is that fun 90s decor I'm talking about. For the mantle, we always put up purple lights because they're not too bright, and some creepy cloth. I try to complement each side of the mantle with decor that looks similar. For instance, you'll see this spider candle holder on this side as well as the other side of the mantle. Some things are different though. I'm going to put a faux vintage postcard on this side instead of the haunted house. But here's that spider and another type of tombstone as well as the same type of pumpkin votive. For the middle, I'm going to put a series of medicine bottles. I love the green and brown one. The one laying down actually still has the prescription information still on it. It's super cool. Now let's get to the right side of the fireplace. Here you will find more pages framed from that kid's catalog. I think it was a Jack and Jill from 1965. I even framed this little poem. It's kind of our cat corner, really. I love that bell with the creepy owl, a creepy jack-o'-lantern, a small witch's broom, and a spider to top it all off. I'll bring out my fall artwork and the blow mold I decided to keep inside from last year. And this year I bought him a hat. It looks way better than nothing at all. It's kind of like that villain off of the first season of Wednesday. Joseph something or other. Again, with the more goofy type of decor. Some lighted picks will finish off that area as we move to the top shelf. This is a votive candle holder that I have just placed decor on, so keep an open mind. And you guessed it, more bottles. They're so easy to find and look so cute for Halloween. I decided to put the other candelabra on this side. I like having one on the lower shelf and one on the upper shelf. It allows for matching, but a little bit of change as well. Thankfully, all of those are on one remote. The final touches, a ghost, a pumpkin, and a gravestone. What do we think about the pumpkin's hat? I think it's better than one I made last year. Maybe it's a bit too goofy. I'll add some pillows and a few extra touches to the other end table. Another ghost and pumpkin, of course. So that is it for my Halloween living room decor. I still have to decorate my kitchen island, dining room table, and of course, the refrigerator magnet gallery. So be sure to come back and see all of those. I will scan the room one more time so you can see the overall vibe. I should show you at night because it looks super cool with all the lights. But thanks for coming along, guys. Come decorate my kitchen with me for Halloween. Yesterday, I decorated my living room. Today, it's the kitchen's turn. I always like to start off in the coffee corner, just adding a few little pieces. And as I stated yesterday, you're going to see some mid-century vintage decor, as well as that classic 90s kind of goofy decor. That is what I grew up with. My kids have come to really love it, and so I still like to incorporate it throughout my house. This year, I did thrift those golden teaspoons, and they're perfect for this area. Anything I don't know how to decorate for Halloween, I just add a pumpkin to it. It's a great way to really tie it all in with the rest of the decor. Maybe someday I'll come across some purple melamine cups so I can have the orange, green, and purple look. Those seem to be the popular Halloween colors. Or maybe even black. Here I am stacking all of my orange-colored vintage cookbooks. And on top, a functional piece, my canister of filters. I love putting picks in vintage coffee and teapots. And this mid-century green is perfect for the area. There's my 90s tray. And I told you guys I loved the frog so much I was going to work him in, so I did. I took a vintage candle ring and just bent it so it fit inside of him. I really like the way it looks. I'll finish off with a few darker pumpkins and my 90s hand towel. This corner is always the most fun for me to decorate, and as I mentioned, I just add pops of orange throughout anywhere that's more of a functional space. Truly a mix of all the decades from 90s and back. On the other side of my sink, I'm going to add some pumpkins. I wanted to cover that flower, and so I added a spider, but he almost looks a little too real. We'll see if he lasts. The cats don't seem to like the spiders too much. On my stove, I always add a candle in my spoon rest, a piece of decor, and another spider. I also got my copper timer out and some new tiny salt and pepper shakers. Do you guys remember this guy? I thought it looked like he was rubbing his belly and he was full, so the kitchen seemed like the most appropriate spot for him. And he works really well sitting right on top of my spices next to what I already had out, my autumn cookbook. Before moving on from my main counter spaces, I am a sucker for holiday-themed items, and so, of course, I have some Halloween Oreos. This huge dish was a perfect thrift find. Let's move on now to my kitchen island. I'm going to move my placemat so more orange shows. I have a couple of themed candy dishes, and again, how could I pass up Halloween-themed napkins? Not to mention that they are much thicker than the other ones. I always like to keep a 3-wick candle here, and this is where Muffin appeared because she's so nosy. My vintage salt and pepper shaker, and end with a early 2000s touch of that trick-or-treat sign. For the small candy dish, I decided to go with this Twix and Snickers Ghoulish Green. I have a feeling that the Snickers will be gone first in this house, but this dish may last about a week and a half, I'm going to guess. Thank goodness it doesn't hold very much at a time. I do really like the pop of green, though. As for the big dish, it is tradition that I fill it with candy corn. The great thing about it is I'm able to refill it all the way up until December 1st. And by request from my younger daughter, pumpkins. I'll be honest, I like them better than candy corn as well. I'm going to give those a stir, and once they're mixed up, they're ready to go back. Although, I'll be honest, I already picked out a pumpkin. I forgot to light the candle for the ultimate effect, but you guys get the idea. I also decided to change up the decor on our dining table. I moved the top hat arrangement over here because I wanted to use it for Thanksgiving, so I'm going to keep it all put together. We had Rolos left from last month, so I'm just going to move them here. Another pumpkin candy dish, some toothpicks that usually sit in this area, and the owl salt and pepper shaker. For this candy dish, I decided to do some different colors, and so I'm going to use these Ghirardellis, and the green and the yellow will complement this area best. The green is actually caramel apple, and I don't know how I feel about that. I just hope they don't make the regular caramel ones taste like apple as well. You know how that happens? I was able to fit them all in here too. The blue ones will just be saved in the drawer. They're milk chocolate, and I'm sure they won't go to waste. It does look a little bit busy, but I like all the items, and once the Rolos are gone, I'll pull that candy dish. So that is it for my kitchen decor for Halloween. After this, I am going to start on the October refrigerator gallery, so be sure to come back tomorrow to see it. What do we think about the frog? Did I work him in well? Thanks for coming along, guys. Come update my magnet gallery with me for Halloween. Here is what my September magnet gallery looked like, and I can easily pull all of the September tiles, the ones that are referencing school starting, and then all of the yellow ones as well. I was kind of going with like a pre-fall theme. As for the rest of them, I'm not sure what I'll be able to use or not, so I'm going to leave them for now, but I have a feeling I'm going to pull them. In the garage, I have a pantry with a metal door, and so that is where I store all of my extra non-holiday specific magnets. I was going to see if there was anything here I could pull for Halloween, and I really just don't think so, so I ended up just putting all of my magnets away. In the holiday totes, though, I did have some Halloween ones from last year. For instance, I had these clip-on earrings that looked like spiders to me, so I made them into magnets. These 2 frames from the Target dollar bins. I'll get the calendar tiles for October. And this year I was lucky enough to thrift lots of Halloween pins. This one was already missing the hardware, so it'll easily become a magnet. However, I thrifted 3 Hallmark pins that all have the pin still attached. Since they're all from the 80s, I'm going to try to salvage the pin part. And I also have a banner I usually hang on our fireplace. However, this year it felt like it was just too busy. I did attach some wooden pieces to the banner last year. I'm going to pull them and see if I can't make some into magnets as well. And I can't forget, I'm going to use some vintage Halloween ephemera I got from Schmamazon to frame. But first, let's pick out which of these wooden cuts that I would like. I can only pick one cat, so I decided the one on the left fit the vibe. I'm also only going to choose one little girl, so I liked the brunette. The kid with the mask was a little bit blurry, and I really liked the bat, and so I decided to pick him for the third. I got out my magnet case, which has all of my magnets organized. I have a lot of different sizes and strengths of magnets, and so I'm just really adding them depending on how heavy the item is. I get asked a lot about the hot glue peeling off or not staying, and in those cases, I will just use E6000. The wooden ones, I ended up putting 2 magnets on, just to straighten them out. As for the pins, I decided I was going to glue on some felt to a magnet and then just poke it through, but these were too big, and so you could still see the magnet. So I decided to use some smaller ones, and that was a good idea in theory, but it was just too thick. From the side, it looked really goofy. And since these were mass-produced from Hallmark, I went ahead and peeled off the pin part. Don't hate me, guys. At least they're getting another life, and actually they're getting to see a lot more of the world being on my refrigerator. Next, let's frame some items in these thrifted frames. I have some postcard holders, but they are rose gold, and so I really wanted to put something in these black frames because I feel like they're definitely more Halloween. I had already marked some things that I liked, and so I was just going to see if it fit. Unfortunately, a lot of them were postcard size, and they didn't quite fit. They were too narrow. I really liked the vibe of this one, so I was happy that it fit, and I think it looks really great. I love that it kind of brings in a blue color almost. So let's fill the other frame. I really wanted something horizontal, but again, a lot of them were really narrow. This book had so many options, but a lot of them are super creepy. I can totally dig that, but it didn't go with kind of the rest of the theme of my house, so I had to kind of steer a little bit clear of that. Like this picture, awesome. Just didn't really fit the refrigerator, you know? So I landed on this little girl, and I didn't love that they were both vertical, but I was going to try and work with it. More cats, more pumpkins. Since these frames have glass fronts, I am going to use my extra strength magnets. They even come with a little adhesive patch, so I don't have to worry about the glue. To add one that was landscape, I used this cutout from last year from an old Jack and Jill kids catalog. I believe it was 1966. Now it was time to assemble. As a reminder, here's how my September magnet gallery looked. And here is the October Halloween one. I was able to keep a few pieces, including that vase on the bottom left, which I loved being able to incorporate. I did have some extra die cuts that I thought might look cute on this left side, and I'm glad I added it. It really captures that 90s Halloween feel. What do you guys think? Come wrap a gift with me for my brother-in-law's birthday. Not only do I like to wrap in thrifted items, but I thrift a few gifts as well. One item I got was this 1984 Ghostbusters folder. He can use it for work, and man, I wish I could order that t-shirt for him too. Something from his wish list were these socks. He's always wanting socks. He also had this door draft stopper. I don't ask questions. I just get what people want. He wanted to give this coffee a try. My husband already loves it. For holidays, he is the one who brings pasta salad. My kids love it, so I got him a vintage pasta server. He loves Star Wars, and he also has a shelf that he puts little trinkets on that I give him. These are from 1997, so they're not completely vintage, but I think he'll appreciate them. And just like my sister got the hot dog magnet, he got a pizza magnet. It's so fitting, you guys have no idea. But let's head to the craft closet to pick out wrapping details. I think his gift will be too big for the folded paper, so I'm going to use this roll of Flintstones paper. I'll need some black tissue paper to match. And since I have some smaller items, maybe I could use some drawstring bags to put them in. I'm trying to keep the black theme from the speckles of the gift paper. And so I thought that this one might work even though it was see-through. I tried putting all 3 Pez in there, which I didn't love the idea of, and they were too big. So I decided to skip out on the drawstring and just go to the small cellophane bags that I have. My sister and I seem to just keep gifting these back and forth, and I know that my brother-in-law will give them back as well. And since I am so extra, I'm going to put each one in a different bag. Now for the box, I did get it at Walmart. I keep a tote of extra boxes and such in my garage. Once the box is formed, it's ready for its contents. I wanted to do the folder first so it didn't get bent, and I decided just to wrap it in some tissue paper. And it just happened to be the exact right size for tissue paper. Nothing fancy here, I just folded it over and taped it a few times. I placed it in the bottom, and I will have to tell him that that's a gift and not just the decorative bottom. Moving on, I'm going to wrap the socks. And yes, this is absolutely extra to wrap a gift inside of a wrapped gift, but I love him being able to open one at a time, and I get to see the excitement of each item. Plus, even though this wrapping paper is vintage, I have a lot on the roll, so I want to use it. Next, for the coffee, since it's very malleable, I decided to just wrap it Subway style in some black tissue paper, and then maybe put a ribbon on each one. I decided that being kind of sloppy with this would just kind of add to the character, and so I didn't overthink it too much. Back in the craft closet, I grabbed my ribbon container, and I want a really bright orange to complement the paper. Thankfully, I had this hem, and I cut it in half. It'll work perfectly. I just tied a couple of bows around each one, and it's really cute. It really complements the main paper. I had a hard time deciding what angle I wanted to place it at, but I landed on one that allowed just a little bit of room on the edge. I went round and round about the door stopper thing, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to wrap it as well. And that's when I finally noticed that the paper does say 1994, which is super cool. It's always reaffirming to what I think is true. I got it at an estate sale, and I think I spent like 10 cents on the whole roll. What a great deal. And I know that my brother-in-law likes it because I wrapped my nephew's gift in it one time, and he complimented it. But let's move on to these smaller items that I'm going to put into these cellophane sleeves. Like I said, I'm a little extra, so I am putting each Pez in its own individual envelope, and then I will turn them face in so each one is a surprise. For the pasta spoon, this can be the one item he sees when he first opens the box, and so I'm just going to put a little ribbon on it. I put it off to the side so it doesn't get smashed. And now it's time to fill all of that empty space with extra tissue paper. I flipped the box over to wrap it, so I want to make sure that things don't jostle around too much. Now that it's taped shut, it's ready to wrap. I love wrapping big gifts with vintage paper. You can see all of the details. For ribbon, I thought obviously I would go with black. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything that I loved. All I had was tulle. There is bright pink on the paper as well, but this is the only bright pink that I have. So I went back to the tulle and thought I could just do the black with a little bit of pink detail. Once I wrapped it around, I gave it some bunny ears and then decided just to keep on doing that process over and over until all of the ribbon was used. It worked out better than I thought, and this was the end result. I actually thought it looked good enough that I didn't even need the pink. So now I should add the card, circa the millennium. So I don't cover up the paper, I'm going to tape it to the side. And there it is. Happy birthday, Brian. I hope you had a wonderful day. Thanks for coming along, guys. Come pack my new event tote with me. This weekend, we have an all-day tournament for my daughter, and so I'm going to pack my event tote. I don't like to carry large purses, so there are a lot of little extras that I might need for an all-day event that I don't want to put in my purse. The tote that I usually carry is getting a little worn, and so I got onto an auction site, if you know what I mean, and I purchased this beauty. It's vintage corduroy, and it's perfect for what I need. So let's start packing. My 2 younger children will also be with me, and so I like to pack a few little snacks so we're not spending all of our money at the concession stands. We have quite a few full-size candy bars, and so this is an easy way to use them up while also saving a penny or two. And I put them in a baggie in case they kind of melt a little bit. You never know what kind of service you're going to get in a gym, so I am going to pack my power bank. With high school girls, you can never have too much gum. It is not uncommon for my daughter or one of her friends to ask for a Band-Aid, so I'm going to pack a few of those. And something that I always try to keep on hand, Azo, because if you know, that might be a lifesaver. And I do have regular pain meds in my purse. I am a fan of buying bottles of water and then just putting this Mio in it. And again, in a plastic bag because I'm not looking to stain my new bag. I just ran out of my hand sanitizer in my regular event tote, so I'm going to add this new fall scent. In case I want to work on my videos, I'm going to bring my AirPods. And this little container is in case I end up holding anyone's jewelry because I end up doing that quite a bit too. A hair clip will finish it off. There almost needs to be like a snap here, so maybe I'll try to add one. It's nice and heavy, yet super cute and ready for the weekend. Thanks for coming along, guys.